Hey everyone, my name is Art, and in today's video I'm going to break down the most important foundations of modern privacy, the Fair Information Practice Principles, also known as FIPPs. These principles guide how organizations, especially U.S. federal agencies, collect, use, store, and protect personally identifiable information, otherwise known as PIIs. My goal is to help you understand what the FIPPs are, how they compare to other major privacy regulations, and how they protect PII in real-world cybersecurity environments. So what are FIPPs? FIPPs stands for the Fair Information Practice Principles, and they are a set of internationally recognized guidelines that form the backbone of privacy policy. They aren't a law by themselves. Instead, they serve as a framework that government agencies and private organizations use to develop strong privacy practices. At their core, the FIPPs focus on transparency, fairness, accountability, minimizing how data is collected, and ensuring that individuals stay informed and involved when their personal data is used. Almost every major privacy law like GDPR, HIPAA, and the Privacy Act themselves connect to these principles. The 9 FIPPs. So FIPPs comes with 9 principles, and I'm going to walk you through one by one. These come directly from the Federal Privacy Council's official framework. You could check their website, link in the description below, but let's jump into it. And here we have the Fair Information Practice Principles: transparency, individual participation, authority, purpose, specification, and use limitation, minimization, quality and integrity, access and amendment, security and accountability. Organizations use these principles to build their law and their privacy policies. Transparency. Organizations must clearly communicate what data they collect, why they collect it, and how it will be used, and who it will be shared with. This includes things like privacy notices and public-facing policies. Individual participation. People should have the ability to access their own data, request corrections, and understand how their information is being used. This empowers the individuals and increases trust. Purpose specification. Whenever an agency collects personal data, it needs to clearly state the specific reason for collecting it. No vague or hidden intentions. Data minimization. The only minimum amount of personal information needed to complete a task should be collected, used, and stored. Collecting unnecessary data increases risk. Use limitation. Data must only be used for the purpose for which it was originally collected, unless the individual gives consent or the law requires otherwise. Data quality and integrity. Organizations need to ensure that personal information is accurate, current, and relevant. Bad data leads to bad decisions and can harm individuals. Security. This principle requires strong technical, administrative, and physical safeguards. It includes encryption, access controls, logging, and security awareness training. Accountability. Agencies must assign responsibility for privacy compliance. This includes policies, training, oversight, and consequences for misuse. Auditing. Regular monitoring and assessments ensure that privacy practices are actually being followed. Audits identify weaknesses before they become major issues. The FIPPs are extremely influential because they form the foundation of most major privacy laws and regulations around the world. Even though FIPPs themselves are not law, the principles inside them, like transparency, minimization, purpose limitation, and accountability, directly shape laws that are legally enforceable. Now, let's compare FIPPs with other privacy laws. GDPR is one of the strictest privacy laws globally, and it carries heavy enforcement penalties. Even so, the GDPR's core ideas come directly from FIPPs. For example, things like transparency about data use, data minimization, purpose limitation, accountability, and strong security controls. Both frameworks aim to protect individuals and limit how organizations use personal data. Then we have HIPAA. HIPAA focuses specifically on protecting health information, while FIPPs apply broadly to all personally identifiable information. HIPAA's privacy rule and security rule were built using FIPPs like requirements, such as ensuring accurate data, restricting unnecessary use, protecting records, and being accountable for breaches. And next we have the Privacy Act of 1974. This act regulates how federal agencies collect, store, and use personal information. It was one of the earliest laws influenced by the original FIPPs. Requirements like clear purpose statements, individual access to records, and limits on data sharing come straight from the FIPPs concepts. In short, FIPPs provide the backbone of modern privacy practices like laws from GDPR, HIPAA, and Privacy Act enforce the same principles. FIPPs simply came first. Many major privacy laws enforce the same concepts found in the FIPPs. When organizations violate those laws, they often break FIPPs principles as well. Here are three major examples. Meta, for example, transferred user data across borders without proper safeguards. This violated FIPPs principles of transparency, security, and purpose limitation, which led to them receiving a $1.3 billion GDPR fine in 2023. In 2021, Amazon used personal data for targeted advertising without valid consent, which led them to a $887 million GDPR fine. This violated FIPPs concepts of individual participation, use limitation, and data minimization. Finally, Equifax failed to patch a known vulnerability, leading to a massive breach affecting over 147 million people. This violated FIPPs principles of security, data quality, and accountability, which led to Equifax getting a FTC settlement of over $700 million in 2019. These real-world cases show how ignoring FIPPs principles, especially around security, transparency, and proper data use, can lead to massive legal and financial consequences. So now I'm going to cover how FIPPs protect PII and how agencies can apply them. The FIPPs protect personally identifiable information by forcing organizations to think intentionally about every step of the data lifecycle, from collection, storage, use, sharing, and disposal. Here's how each principle strengthens privacy and how the federal agency would put it into practice. So we'll start with transparency. Transparency protects PII by building trust by clearly explaining data practices. An agency example would be publishing privacy impact assessments and Privacy Act statements. Individual participation. This protects PII because it gives people control of their data. An agency might want to allow citizens to access or correct their records when they need to. Purpose specification. It prevents hidden or improper data use. So companies and agencies need to clearly document why PII is being collected in system records. For example, a website may request a photo of your driver's license. That agency or organization needs to clearly document why they need that specific piece of information, and it has to be on a legal basis. Data minimization. It reduces exposure to breaches by limiting what is collected. An agency example would be only collecting the minimum information needed for its mission task. Use limitation. It prevents data from being used for unrelated or unauthorized reasons. An agency example would be restricting internal access to and preventing improper data sharing. Data quality and integrity. This ensures accurate and reliable information. For federal agencies, regular verification and allowing individuals to correct errors, such as incorrect social or birthday or whatever the case may be. Security, of course, will always prevent unauthorized access, breaches, and data loss. Agencies implementing security might want to encrypt data, enforce multi-factor authentication, logging in access, and scanning systems. And then accountability. It ensures that agencies follow privacy rules and face the consequences if they don't. And then for organizations and federal agencies, training employees and assigning privacy officers. A good example of this would be someone like Facebook. If they went through a breach and they didn't let their consumers know, then they would be fined appropriately. Then finally, we have auditing. This verifies compliance and catches problems early. For example, logging access, reviewing logs, and running annual audits to ensure that every agency or organization is compliant. In the end, the fair information practice principles serve as a foundation for ethical and secure data handling. For cybersecurity professionals, understanding FIPPs is essential. They guide how we protect people, their privacy, and their trust. If you'd like to learn more, I've listed the links to official resources in the description below. I highly encourage you to read the full FIPPs guidance from the Federal Privacy Council, reviews the Privacy Act of 1974, and explore GDPR and HIPAA to see how these principles shape real cybersecurity laws. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe for more cybersecurity content, and continue your journey toward becoming a stronger and more informed cybersecurity professional.